Okay. As an individual, I think a lot. I think a lot, and sometimes the thinking of a lot is like an overthinking of some kind. But it can be healthy and unhealthy. So the unhealthiness that I picked up is when I am continuously thinking about the same thing. So I would think of something and make a decision, but because I forgot that I made a decision, I will move on and think about other stuff. But this thing will pop up again, and when it pops up again, then I start afresh and rethink the whole thing over and over again. So obviously I am now home, full-time, raising my firstborn child, and it's my first time being a mom, and because of our family decisions, we've decided that I'll be home for a while. But I'm a corporate girly. I love work. So the decision was we need to stay home and have the child raised up until maybe 2-3 years old. Then we can sort of consider daycare or creche or whatever we call it. So I spent a lot of time at home with the baby, and sometimes by the evening you just feel like you need something adulty that you would have done for the day. And in the feeding, bathing, playing, other life thoughts come your way, and it causes you to overthink, like the thing of, do I really need to go to get a job? Do I want to go back into corporate? Do I want to reopen a particular business? Do I want to finish my master's degree? Do I want to do an MBA? Do I want to? So there's always all of these things that you think about, and every time you think about them, you make a decision. And sometimes it's stuff in business as well. So it's very, very much in business. You also have lessons that you learn in business, and you get burned quite a few times. And sometimes it's even for the good stuff as well, where you say, I want to open a business in a particular point, and business works very well in that particular location. So sometimes it's we make decisions mentally, and then we keep them there, but because we never documented that decision anyway, it's very likely that you will go back and redo the whole thinking process of that decision. And sometimes it does feel like a waste of time, or sometimes that's when people then tend to think, or people tend to say that we are overthinkers. So I came up with what I call a decision studio, where I basically go through the process of deciding on a particular thing and stick to it. And obviously, when that thought comes back around, the idea is to go back to the decision vault and open it up and say, hey, I did think about this before. What was the conclusion? Or where did I stop? So I'm going to go through that with you today, and hopefully it is something that helps you, because it's definitely helped me in my life. So it's called a decision studio, and it's a 8-step process. 9 or 10 is just the review trigger, but it's a 8 steps process. Very little questions, very simple questions that you can look at and try to answer as best as you can. You don't have to do it in one sitting. You can do it in bits and pieces as you digest what the issue is. So the decision that I'm going to illustrate today is my career pivot. So I'm an accountant, but I am in a very privileged place right now in my career. How do you spell career? My God. I thought this pen would work. It's not. Let's stick to the black one. I'm at a privileged point in my life now where I have a chance to rethink my career. I'm an accountant. My career as an accountant. And accountant is quite broad. There's obviously my business, which is called Rokaone, which is a bookkeeping business. As you're following on the journey, it's currently running at a loss. And there's also just me, a corporate, and being full-time employed. So I was last full-time employed, and in that employment I got to taste a little bit of lecturing, accounting 101 basically, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. And the reason why I did my master's in management, it's because I was hoping to dig deeper into my life in Rokawane as an entrepreneur. And I struggle with this term, entrepreneur. I struggle with entrepreneurship, and as we go along, I'll explain why. So, at this point, I want money, right? Okay, why? So I'm already jumping to number 2. So you see, as you think of this thing, naturally, the questions will sort of flow for themselves. So my issue is I want money. And I don't want gallons of money, but I want money enough to survive. There's a Bible verse that says, give me enough so that if I'm too rich, I think it says I'll be arrogant or something. And then if I'm too poor, then I'll beg. And there's nothing wrong with begging, but sometimes it's just nice to have enough, right? So I would like money, and at this point Rokawan is not making money, and at the same time I'm 37 and I don't have retirement. Why am I considering this? Retirement money is part of retirement savings. My retirement savings are nowhere near what I need to be at for a person that's at retirement. That's retiring in 15-20 years. How many years? 25 years. I don't know. Retirement. So I'm at a point where I have privilege to have a look at my life and decide which path do I want to take. So I am a big believer of side hustle. Why am I considering my pivot? It's because I want money, and obviously money comes with better life quality, in a sense that we're not living paycheck to paycheck. 3, it's also fulfillment. I know I'm not my job, but I also know that I enjoy my job, and I really want to get into something that I enjoy and still make money out of it, as opposed to just, you know what, I can get a full-time job and just go work there, whether it's enjoyable or not. So I'm going through this decision so that I can at least find my way to say, what is it that actually fulfills me? So in part of the process that I was thinking, I know that I am a firm believer of a side hustle. So I don't have a problem with continuing with Hokawan as a side hustle, but for my immediate money solution, I need to be considering going back into a full-time job. So a full-time job, what does that look like? As an accountant, full-time job means I must go be an accountant and do Fs and reporting and be an FM somewhere, or consulting, which I've never done. So I've never consulting. So this is your big five. Or was it big four? I don't know. So I've never worked in here. So I've always worked in operations space, like a company. I'll be the accountant in the finance department. On the market, I'll probably earn 600, 750k. I struggled to get into this was my last tax salary. This was my last salary package. I would admire, I aspire to get in here, but I struggled to jump from that. That's also because I have a couple of years where I was out of the job market, so I think I lost quite a few years in this, so I'm stuck on this lower end range. So now my problem is I tend to want this type of money out of Hokawin. So Hokawin has been around for like 12 years or so. I registered Hokawin in 2016. I should probably, it would be nice to use different colors, but they won't come through in the video. So I registered Hokawin in 2016, but it was a side hustle. There was momentum at some point, so the greatest momentum was 2019 to 2021 April, early 2021. This was the greatest momentum that I had. Before then, it was really, really ultra side hustle. Here, I was just struggling. Here, 2021, 2024, I was just struggling, and then I went back into this job because I was putting too much pressure and I wanted to give me this type of money, and for the infancy stage of that business, that was not realistic, which is a lesson that I've learned now. So that brings me to this whole thing. So I love Wakawane, but it can't give me that. So I need now to go back into corporate and make the money and make sure my retirement is sort of in place. I have a child now as well, so I have to consider for his future, and that leads me to what problem am I trying to solve? I'm trying to solve my money problem. I'm trying to solve my money problem. I need money now. Also because Okawani can't afford 600A per annum. Sorry, this is per annum. And I don't want to. There's a song by Tear Gas. My biggest fear in life is retiring broke. I don't want to retire broke or to struggle, especially when I have the qualifications that I have. I can easily go get a job. I don't want to struggle in the name of entrepreneurship. Right? Maybe I should write that as well. I don't want to struggle in the name of, I want to do something else. I wanted to say unstructured, yeah. Unstructured entrepreneurship. Also story for another day. So a lot of us go into entrepreneurship without planning on how we're gonna make that work. So again, I'm at a point where I'm privileged enough to have a look at this and say, how can I structure it such that it can give me the 600? So it has led me to, I need to get a full-time job. So then the decision of what of the full-time job is finding which role, title, type of job I need to work around that will give me this fulfillment that I want. And that has led me to business analyst. Business analyst. But I'm skills short, so I need to catch up on my skills in that regard. So the next question was, what problem am I actually trying to solve? It's because I need to solve my money problems now. Now I'm fine. Day to day we are fine. Day to day I'm fine. That's like it. I'm speaking from a point of privilege. Day to day I'm fine. But it is the future that obviously depends on now that I would like to sort out. And yeah, so anyway, sorry. Yeah, so what am I trying to solve? I need money now, but I also need a way to structure this money situation. Okay, so what is my thinking process? My thinking process, the benefits of me getting a full-time job is money comes now. Money will come now because I'll be getting a salary. And then what is my risk? Job application rejections. Then consequences of doing nothing, I won't get hired. And the cost of applying is 0. So this decision studio was actually meant from a business lens, but as I introduce some of the aspects of business, I will explain the correct or rather the examples that are actually business led. For now, this particular decision is very much personal, so bear with me if some of the stuff don't make sense. And then what other benefits can I get on me getting a full-time job? Another benefit that I get out of getting a full-time employment is organic growth of Okawani. So Okawani, I've learned that it is a very trust-heavy business. I'm dealing with people's money. I'm dealing with people's futures, and it's very difficult for me to just get a client and it's a one-time service and they go away. A lot of my clients from 2019, most of my clients, so prior to 2016, most were like very close-knit circles, friends of friends of friends. In 2019, 17, 18, 19, more 18, 19, I started getting complete strangers. A lot of those strangers became good friends today. So the reason why this business is still around is because of that. And I always say to my clients that when we retire, I want us to be calling each other in our beach houses and say, listen, look at the sunset. It looks nicer from my side, come from my house, come see it. So Rokawan is not the type of business that it needs to grow, it will boom overnight. It's heavily relying on trust, and this doesn't come overnight, so it's going to take time. So by me being full-time employed while running Rokawani professionally as well, I'm not just running it as a side hustle, I'm running it professionally to give it a chance to grow. The risk of that is my ultimate life struggle is two masters parable. Because I'll be full-time employed somewhere else, I always tend to think that that employment will take precedence over my side hustle, because obviously it pays the bills. So I really need to work on balancing, and my mindset balance, and my mindset to say I can have both, because I really am a firm believer of side hustle. So I just need to work on my mindset to say it is okay for me to have a full-time job and have a side hustle, because the full-time job can help me grow this by injecting money for adverts in case I don't have income from customers. The consequences of doing nothing is Okawano won't grow. Okawano won't grow. I'll probably shut it down. And if I get this job, I think I might be maybe not enjoy the job, because when it becomes like a breather outside of the 9 to 5. The cost here is minus infinity. This is a big cost here, because as long as I keep running Rokaoni without being structured, I'm going to keep incurring losses like the registered domain, the zeros that I'm paying for, the Microsofts that I'm paying for, the YouTube learnings, what's that I am paying for. So there's a lot of cost here. So I need to make a decision, so that if I'm not going to operate on Rokawana, then I need to cancel all of these things. And otherwise I'm just gonna keep funding a dying horse, or whatever the saying goes. And then let's think of another benefit of me going to work. It really is, a lot of it really does hinge around money, and the better life quality and the fulfillment is hinging on being a fresh breath of air into my life, because I really enjoy Rokawana. Because here as an accountant, the work that I do here is mostly, let's say for example, I'm an actual accountant, so I do journals, I do asset registers, I do invoicing, I do creditors payments, and what else is there? I don't even know what that is. Then I'm in meetings and I'm reporting and submitting reports to the management or C-suite level, and I'm very strict at work. I hardly make friends at work. I struggle to make friends at work, and I earn my salary and I go home. And previously I didn't have much to go home to. Then that's how Okawani came about. But now obviously I have a family, so it's me now learning to balance that. So I also then would feel more balanced with my life, knowing that I can afford a swimming lesson for my son, or a bluey jersey or hat or whatever for my son, if I have the income from this job with the happiness that comes with Okawani. So I think the fulfillment element comes there, because really in my full-time employment, it's a rule that I have. I generally don't make friends at work. I don't know, it's difficult. Maybe one day I'll elaborate. So my validation and justification of why I need this job. How am I justifying it? Ngimdala, guys. Ngimdala. I don't know. I'm an adult. I am a mom. I am a daughter. no. I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm a business owner. I need money to be all of these things. So we need money. That's the justification. No, yeah. So the validation justification is so particularly looking at being a business analyst, because this is another decision that I've taken, but it would obviously be like the second step to this entire thing, because this entire thing is about I'm rethinking my my career as an accountant, and it's boiling down to I need to find a corporate job, and then the next step of it is what title. That's what I was trying to get to here, because I don't enjoy this much, the reporting and the meetings and the reconciliations and the verifying payments. The one thing I don't like is supplier payments, month end payments, the stack of payments that you have to review and verify on the bank. Oh, I don't enjoy that part. But for some companies it wasn't every month end. For some companies it was every month end. If it wasn't every month end, it was like a roster, and then 2-3 days that week of month end, it's just you verifying payments. That's difficult. It's not difficult, it's scary, because if someone didn't do the reconciliation properly and you don't check properly, you might end up paying many invoices that shouldn't be paid. You end up paying the wrong supply, end up paying to the wrong account, and it's scary. It's a scary part of being an accountant. But this type of accountant role jobs, I don't enjoy them anymore. So I would like to get into being a business analyst. So the validation is I need money, and there's breathing room financially. I am honestly pressuring myself in terms of my retirement savings and my children's education and the house and a lot of the stuff. So I am giving myself grace, which is why I'm saying I am privileged this year to be having a moment to rethink all of this. But when I move from here, I want to 0 to 100. 220 if I must, kilometers per hour. Like I said, this studio is for particularly for a business. So, but this one is personal. So this question number 6 is this the right decision for this stage of my business? So, like I said, I don't know how to spell privilege. Privilege. I'll double check this. See, I'm so privileged that I don't even know how to spell it. Privilege. I don't know, man. I'll check the spelling. Yes, because this opportunity may never come. Opportunity may never come. And I also would like to not have to do this. Go through this at 50 years old. Yeah, anyway, so this is if anything, this is the best time. My son is 2 years old. The marriage is still fresh enough to take the knock. So we're still in pretty much honeymoon phase. So I think this is the best time for me to have a look at it. Like I said, I'm not oblivious at the fact that not everybody gets to do this, and the fact that I have this opportunity, I really want to grab it with two hands and make the most of it. So now, in terms of my elimination process, let's say what options did I consider? So I've considered fast track Okaoni through selling other products, collaborations, and so that is like working with other accountants and bookkeepers. And for me, this has been tough. Okay, both have been tough. Selling other products like your Forever Living. Listen, guys, I even sold balloons at some point, because Okaoni tends to be seasonal as well. So now, in terms of tax, is in July to November. So this is my peak month for making money. I can make tax money outside of the tax season, but these issues are usually notice of objections and objections. It's difficult to price these services because I'll explain some other topic for another day. I'll explain some other time. But these objections take 3 to 6 months, and if I'm charging a client 1.5 for 6 months, it feels like it's not a worth it service. So to make up for these seasonal stuff, I started considering Forever Living. I sold Justine at some point, and I don't have the passion for these things, and I have the personality, I don't have the passion for it. It's like I don't know how to sell something that I don't believe in. I did financial products. This also with Discovery. The problem with Discovery was pushing me to sell funeral policies, and I didn't enjoy that because I personally don't necessarily believe in funeral policies. I'd rather you put this 30 rand into shares somewhere for 40 years. So Discovery was pushing a certain type of product that I wasn't probably shouldn't be saying. I am saying it because people knew that I was a Discovery financial advisor, so that's okay. And we had issues there, and I ended up leaving the business because I got a full-time job, and then it also became a issue of 2 masters, and this full-time job was paying bills because we just bought the house and I needed money, and I didn't enjoy this, so it was easy for me to let go of that. And then why did I eliminate these things? It's collaborating with other accountants is difficult because we work differently. I hold my client's hand. I walk through them, the process of what we're doing. Okay, you want a pack of financial statements. Getting a pack of financial statements means I need your income, I need your expenses, I need to tell you what your profitability is. If you're running at a loss, these are the implications. If you're running at a profit, these are the implications, particularly for SARS as well. I need you to build your balance sheet. What does your balance sheet mean? It means you got assets, you got liabilities, and you got equity. What does all of that mean? I do that. So there's a very heavy education element in my service provision versus other accountants. They just sign off, they disappear. The banks come back and say, oh, there's something wrong with this amount. Other accountants don't care, they are gone. And I don't work like that. So collaborating was quite difficult. And then what other option did I consider? Buying an existing business? It wasn't an existing business. This was more like franchising. This was too expensive. This was too expensive for my liking. So there's can't remember what the name of it, but they give you a client list and you use their branding. So it essentially change from Hokaoni and be part of this. And they were asking for quite a bit of money for what they were providing. I was like, it's fine. I'd rather go through the process of learning how to organically grow my own client list. And it's not easy, guys. Organically building a client list, it's not easy. This would have been quicker, but even the list of the clients that they were giving, and the fee structure. I think they were saying their clients' monthly bookkeeping, they start at like $250 or something per month. Yo, guys, bookkeeping for $250 per month, that's donations, that's pro bono work. So yeah, so this didn't work as well. What else did I consider? I've considered just leaving it all, guys. Leave it all, be a housewife. How do I spell housewife? I don't know how to spell housewife. This didn't work. He's not rich enough. If you see my husband, tell him we need more money. Then I can do this and I'll raise my kid and be his wife and do all the wifely stuff and the mummy stuff and all the other stuff. So yeah, so that was my elimination process. And then just before I decide, I need to now go review some of the questions. Am I solving a real problem? Obviously, I would say yes, because this is the most zoomed in I can have. So the question is, am I solving a real problem? Am I reacting emotionally? Will this matter in 12 months? Does this align with my business priorities? I see a spelling error there, I'll fix it. If nobody suggested it, well, I still want it. So like I said, these questions were designed for a business, and I will refine them as we go along. But for the purposes of this video, am I solving a real problem? Yes, I think I am. I'm in crisis mode. I probably am in emotionally because I am in crisis mode, but this is also a real feeling of crisis to me. So yeah, will this still matter in 12 years? Absolutely yes, because remember, I want 600,000 per annum. Look, I can even make 100k per annum. There's nothing wrong with that. Listen, I can even make 50k, which is probably what Hokawone can realistically make. I think realistically I can work, because I once upon a time did at that 2019 period. I was able to at least make 150 per annum. But that was also because I was doing a lot of group coaching, so that did bring in quite a bit of income. So the problem with that, I had to travel in a different province. So I was doing a lot of this in Mpumalanga, and that led me with a lot of traveling. I don't have a car now anymore, so it's going to be difficult for me to consider this. But I can have Hokawone and work at 50k, 100k per annum. My only challenge with that is I feel like I can't afford to have Hokawone be operating for 3 years at this range while I'm waiting for it to organically grow. Where's organic grow? While I'm waiting for it to organically grow, I can't survive for 3 to 5 years in that price range, in that salary income range, because as you know, time value for money. So I think I'm losing money on there. So what I'm going to try to do is do this with the remnant of my 9 to 5 hours. So I'm going to try to do this as a side hustle, and maybe instead of 5 years it will take me 7 years to get to 300k, and that's fine. Again, as long as I'm not pumping money into a bucket with holes. So I think I will see the rewards. And can I afford the consequences? At this point, my issue is saving for retirement, so I can afford them for maybe a year or two. But after that, I think 3 years, guys, I'll be 40. There's that. Sorry. In 3 years, for a year or two, maybe I can afford the consequences. 1 or 2 years, I can afford living with that type of money. But in 3 years' time, I'll be 40. So I need to really start taking my retirement very seriously. So I can't afford to have this type of income in 3 years' time. Then does this align with my business priorities? It does, because it gives me a chance to really consider how exactly am I going to organically grow the business. How exactly am I going to organically grow the business and choose the clientele that I want to work with, that I know that will take me into our retiring years. If nobody suggested this, would I still want it? If nobody told me to get a full-time job, would I still get it? Yes, I would. So my final decision is go get employment. Go get employment and start sending applications to very specific job roles. In the meantime, while I wait for this job, I will be building Hokawan. Review date. Okay, review trigger. If somehow while I'm waiting, Hokawan decides, yeah, Papa 500. I'm kidding, not 500. So let's say while I'm waiting, let's say the waiting period is 6 months. Let's say in 6 months, Hokawan somehow makes 100k. If I make 100k in 6 months, and times 2 is 200. Okay, so that means, okay, I'm saying times 2 if whatever it is can be multiplied by 2. Whatever thing that happened, let's say I get a CSD contract to coach a group of people for, I don't know, CFA or someone, and the invoice is 100,000, and that contract is potentially renewable for another 6 months. So in a year's time, or in 18 months' time, I can make another 100k. So that puts me on 200k. Then maybe I can delay this for another year. 1 year. Oh, 1 year. So my review trigger would be Hokawane's income. Hokawane income at the 6 months mark. So I'm recording this It is 13th of May 2026, sorry. So my 6 months would be June, July, August, September, October, November. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 13th of November. Review date is supposed to be this one, 13th of November 2026. So please press the notification button on the 13th of November. I need to come tell you where we are sitting. Have I received a job, or I'm still waiting for a job, and how much money is the business making? And yeah, how are we doing? So in essence, that's the process that I go through when I make a decision, because every day when I wake up and I am making milk and formula and fighting with my precious bundle of joy, I think to myself, my God, I'll be better off in an open plan office somewhere. And I start to think about, oh, do I need the money? No, I don't need the money. Oh, so then I redo this every day in my, maybe not every day, but mostly maybe 4 or 5 times a week, and I got tired of it. So then I said, okay, fine, I'm going to build something that's going to make me make a decision, and I'm going to sign on it with a nice red pen to sign. It's a nice red pen. I'm going to sign on it, and I'm going to commit to say, for the next 6 months, I'm not going to dwell on this decision. I've made a decision. I'm going to get a job and still build Hokawani. In 6 months' time, I'll come review this decision, if it still stands or it needs to be re-engineered. Anyway, thank you for today, and I hope to see you in the next video.